How did you come to learn about Amtgard? When did you first start?
It's pretty simple. Role Models came out, that the movie about like, yeah, you already know. Yeah. Okay. And my brother and I was like, man, that looks really cool. We'd love to do that sometime. And it just kind of died there for a while. And then years later, I met Sativa and we got in a relationship. And we watched the movie together. I'm like, man, I still would want to do that. It still looks like a lot of fun. And she's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And without me knowing, she started looking things up, and she found Silvermoon because Cayenne was monarch at the time, and he had put out ads, Facebook ads, basically. And she found one. And she's like, "Oh, this place is in Salem. You want to go check it out?" And I'm like, "Sure." I didn't even know this was a thing like that was around me, but yeah, sure. And we just so happened to come out on the day that was. I don't know if it was their coronation. They called it Barons Day. There was like cooking competition, small tournament, stuff like that. So it was a fairly good day to go for your first day because there was enough variety of things to like see what was going on and all that. I don't remember a whole lot about the day. I remember Sativa brought macaroni and cheese that was homemade and won that cooking competition, so that was pretty cool. I entered my first tournament that day, got smoked. It was a jester's cap tournament too, so it was like you pull what weapon set you're using.
Yep.
You know what I got? Sword and dagger. As a new guy. I didn't know what I was doing, but
short round. That one's for you.
But yeah, that was my first day, and Silvermoon was decently big when I first started, and then like a few months after I started, it got huge.
Like that was like summer.
Yeah. So I was honestly spoiled for my first like year.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
you really were. I don't know if Requiem came down. We were pulling 90, 100 person days.
It was like gigantic. Like I thought it was normal because like I had watched that movie. I'm like, oh, it's just like this is how it works. No, I just dumb luck somehow started when things were getting good. I guess.
Right place, right time.
Helped.
Yeah. I actually owe my joining of this club to my wife and Cayenne.
Well, big shout out to Cayenne and Minerva.
Yep.
What about you, Baelnorn?
All right, so I was 14. I was walking through the park in McMinnville, saw some LARPers, and like my dad kind of talked about them, but I didn't play or anything like that. Just kind of watched, didn't really know what was going on. Speed up 2 years. I tell my friends about it, and we're playing sword fighting with PVC and just pipe insulation, like the half-inch stuff. Friend Roy comes in. He says, there's this guy at the comic book store. He's telling us about Amtgard. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Amtgard. We could do that. I go talk to the guy at the store and like organize our first Amtgard day in Newburgh, and we show up with our weapons, and he's like, those are not legal. And so then he showed us some legal ones, and we fought that day for a while. Yeah, that was the
those
first
ones cloth covered day. At the time?
He had cloth covers, but some people were still using duct tape covers. My friends started our own park together, and so we were right in between VSR and Mystic Seas. So we had to choose which kingdom to join, and they didn't know that we existed. And so, but we knew they existed, and sometimes they would use our park in Newburgh for their like inter-kingdom battles. So one day they show up to do this big like kingdom first kingdom stuff, and we show up to watch.
What game are you guys playing? Amtgard. No, not.
Yeah,
Amtgard.
We didn't really participate, but that's the day that they found out that there was actually a holding there, and then we worked on getting part of the actual part of Amtgard and stuff like that.
That was funny.
99, I think. How did you start?
I was a student at the Vancouver School of Arts and Academics, and we did something on Mondays called Monday Workshop. So Deepwater Glen at the time, this was 2000. Deepwater Glen was out at Leverage Park they had somehow convinced the faculty that Amtgard was theater. It was theater combat, and it was a role playing and getting into character and acting out these. They moosed them to where I was able to get credits for my theater for and then they bring their weapons and all that stuff, and then we're just out there fucking playing amped guard during school for 4 hours every
Fucking awesome.
Monday. So yeah, we're playing amp guard at school and getting credit for it. That's where I started, was at my school.